You can support this show at patreon.com/asapodcasting. Hello, welcome back. Skyrim Addict podcast. I'm Michael. I'm joined by Ray.
Hello, hello.
And Victor.
Good evening.
And we're back with we're going to have a little feedback from Steve again. His
Yay.
latest from Lio Getz, who had an interesting time in Markarth. Playing it in a way I have never even thought about doing, actually. That was pretty interesting to find out. You'll have to wait to hear that. But yeah, we had, we'll probably talk some, Baldur's Gate 3 at the end. Whatever we've seen about that. And yeah. I started a survival mode character after there was some discussion about survival mode, I think in the Discord a couple weeks ago. So I was like, oh, the vanilla survival mode's not that bad. Let me go back and do that again. So I went back and did that. I hate that there's no way to tell when you're getting hungry or tired or anything. But you have to go into the menu to actually see the active effects to see.
Doesn't it do audible prompts?
It does.
Yeah.
And it'll
tummy
give you
crumbles.
Yeah, and it'll give you a little thing at the top of the screen. Sometimes though I'm playing in the morning, so I don't have the sound up very high at all, right. So I don't really hear anything. Yeah,
and the little indicators on the screen flash by so quick.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're peckish, but you might miss it real quickly or whatever. So that's definitely something I don't love about it. I haven't died or frozen to death or anything, but I basically just wanted to play. I was like, oh, I'll just play an alchemist. And I've kind of stumbled into jewelry making because I got the Halted Stream camp, which made me realize that would be an amazing, modded player home Halted Stream.
I believe there is a mod for that.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what I wanted. And I was like, I need to look this up. I haven't looked it up yet, but I'm like, there's got to be one for that. Because it's just too good.
I think there's a specific one, but I can't remember. But there's also a mod. I don't remember. I'll look it up, and I have it not loaded, but I have it in my collection. That allows you to claim bandit camps
as you clear it out.
As you clear them out, yeah,
that's excellent.
Yeah, I'll look that up.
Oh, yeah, and can't you defend them from, them trying to reclaim it and stuff like that? It stops them from respawning inside.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So they respawn outside essentially to reclaim it is kind of how the mechanism works.
Yeah. I'm trying to, I'm not sure. Actually, is it Lawless? No, that's the Bandit Overhaul.
That's the Bandit Overhaul, right? Where they're,
Yeah, I have that loaded now as well. Yeah, sorry, I don't remember. It's in here somewhere, but it shouldn't be hard to find anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go on the Nexus and look it up. But it was I was in there, and because I was playing the survival mode, I wasn't fast traveling. Obviously, you can't. But I started out. I did deliver another life. Started out as an alchemist in a tent or whatever. So you're down by a little pond by Falkreath. Yeah. And I just took my time and worked my way back up to Whiterun and just exploring since I'm just doing very basic stuff, I'm just exploring the area, not really questing or anything like that. And so my character stumbles upon Halted Stream and learns how to make gold. So the only smithing I'm doing is making jewelry and collecting my ingredients for potions.
Nice.
And I had to spend 3 or 4 days in there transmuting things because I was level 4. So it was I could cast it one time.
Yeah.
Okay, so So this fits in perfectly. So Major Slack is back in Skyrim.
Oh.
And, so I watched his first couple of videos, and he's got a mod loaded.
Oh, no.
That lets you mine with shock magic.
Oh, interesting.
So you could have a mage, so that you can, get your alteration up quick enough that you could actually do some transmuting. But you could also mine all of your ore via shock magic.
Huh.
And I tried it out. It works pretty damn good.
That is, I like
So it
that.
takes about 3 blasts of shock to mine up, the three bits of ore from each deposit.
Oh, that makes
And
sense.
no pickaxe necessary.
Which is
Wow.
good if you're a mage, because a lot of times you don't have a lot of carry weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it's easy enough to get, shock.
Yeah.
Especially if you do vanilla start and get it from the, from the cage. But
Oh,
Right,
that's
that's-
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sparks. Yeah, that's the mod. That's the spell you got.
Yep.
yeah. So it was pretty cool. It worked well. It worked. I didn't do it a lot. My character's not doing any smithing. But I had to try it out.
Yeah.
And, in Slack's playthrough, it's pretty hilarious watching him.
That's an interesting idea though. Makes the mage, like, it gives it a little more rounding it out around, just for bait. Like, even if it was just for like the transmuting to make jewelry to enchant,
Mhm.
like that would make sense for to go in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to cast magic when your hands are all calloused from swinging a pickaxe.
That's
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's got to be a conjured pickaxe out there too. So.
Yeah,
No,
I imagine, because whatever mod I'm running right now, they're every imaginable weapon
Is conjured.
has a conjured version.
Oh god.
So,
Wow.
I mean, conjured pikes, conjured,
Wow.
halberds.
Which mod is that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm running 2 collections together.
Oh, okay.
So there's like 689 mods,
Oh wow.
and I have no idea
Which one's doing what?
I mean, crazy shit's happening all the time. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not sure
That's
where
awesome.
that came from, but boy, it's kind of fun.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
that's funny. That's good. I like it.
I still have Winter Sun loaded in. I'm using I'm using Ariel because I have a Wood Elf. So
Okay.
just using Ariel. And the basic praying is helping, as opposed to with Hermaeus Mora, where you get absolutely nowhere for decades
Right.
of praying. The normal route is working there. And I'm just doing the basic alchemy and stuff like that. I'm having fun with it. Just a very light, easy playthrough, just wandering the local area, going to like Fort Greenwell and, Halted Stream and stuff like that. Just right around the general area, staying safe, making potions, selling them.
Right, run whole local.
Yeah, just hanging
Yeah.
out in the local area. That's it.
Nice.
I did try. What was that mod? I said I tried it. Let's see, the Chain of Time, which you have to take a. I forget where it kicks off, but essentially it's one of those ones where you get on a boat and you go to an island where something's happening. There's a bunch like that, but
Yeah.
so this one, the island has been a lot of the flora on the island has turned purple. So obviously there's a lot of lavender, a lot of death bells, and everything else kind of has a purple feel to it, like the whole island. I never got to find out why it got turned purple, because I kept having like crashing issues, and I had to start over because I added it into a previous playthrough, so I knew the risk going in. I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
I didn't feel like starting over to start it, and I was like, I'll take a chance and add it in, and it went pretty well. So it wasn't on the mod itself; it was just I had it was a matter of convenience for me, and then I knew the risk I was running with it. But there were some like Khajiit snake creatures, which were interesting, kind of like Medusa-esque looking. But yeah, it's just one of those typical stories where you got to save the island kind of thing, go back and forth. Nicely designed though. I like the look of the island. If you need lavender by any chance or death bells, that would be a great place to go, I would say, because there was a lot of them. So there was just a crap ton of them everywhere since the island was turned purple.
Lavender is a magic. It has several magic properties. Yeah.
Oh, I did finish up my previous character, the Reyes Mora one. Defeated Mirak. Had the dragon. I didn't realize I was on the final run through the Apocrypha to get the Mirak. For some reason, I thought there was another stage I had to go through. And then all of a sudden, the dragon's there, and I'm like, oh. Like, oh, God.
You had no time to mentally prepare.
No, I just, all of a sudden, I had to, I did the dragon run, and I'm like, oh, no, I got to ride this one. Or bend well. Sorry, I have to do the bend well on that one, not dragon run. But, and I'm like, and it's still so clunky. It's just so bad.
It will never, ever be good.
I had such a hard time. You know how he's up at the top of that tower, and I'm stuck. The dragon's trying to kill all these stupid lurkers and stuff on this lower level area, and I'm like, no, we got to go up there. Like, what are we doing? We can't be down here. And then it's landing, and then I got to get back on and fly back. I'm like, oh my God, this is why. It's literally the only achievement I have never gotten in the vanilla game was for riding 5 dragons. Because I wasn't even going to ride 5 dragons.
Yeah.
No. And then, of course, you get the disappointment of not defeating Mirak because Hermes Mora takes it from you, essentially. So there is that also. But yeah, I had fun going through it. But it'd been a while since I did Dragonborn, and it was a good fun time. And playing it as a mage, it was a interesting way to go instead of a sneaky archer, which is I think how I've done it almost every other time.
Yeah. I started a new character too. I decided I had gotten so powerful with the poison. I loaded this mod called Sky Toxin, which adds a lot of super powerful poisons to the game. And so the Periite thing, it was fun. But, when you have a botulino toxin, which literally does like 400 damage points per second.
Oh my God.
For 20 seconds or something like that. Yeah. You can just kill anything.
Yeah. There's nothing that holds it out.
And so you have to sort of stop yourself from using those, but it's just too tempting. Just go around and kill giants everywhere and man. So it was fun while it lasted. So I started a new, he's a Nord. He's General Tullius's ne'er-do-well cousin, Gunnar Tullius. But I wanted to use the 2 new race and standing stone mods from Enai Shion, which is supposed to be integrated into the racial abilities, and they're actually good. So you each stone has a race specific trait, and he's integrated that with the race mod, which has more interesting passive and active effects for your race. You still get for a Nord, you still get 25% frost increase, but you also get a thing called rage, which you can invoke, and another one I forget, and those integrate with various effects from various standing stones. Some of them are like the typical Enai Shion, so if your character has one left, toenail clipped, and you spend 8 seconds, eating cheese, you'll get this bone. It's just ridiculous.
Yes, overly,
right. So, but there's a few that are not quite so complicated, and they're fun. So I want to do that, and I wanted to use Simon Magis's shout overhaul. And so I think we had a brief discussion about this on the chat, where Gods in Worship takes a very different approach to Talos worship. Yeah, that's right. I didn't say this. He's a very devout Talos worshiper, having got off the cart and ended up in Whiterun for obvious reasons, and been converted by Heimskr and so on. So Gods in Worship versus Winter Sun, very different approach to the Talos worship. Gods in Worship is a much more armor and combat related, whereas Winter Sun is all shouts. The Simon Magus overhaul for shouts doesn't add all the many new sort of combination shouts that Cheyenne added in his shout overhaul Thunderchild. It adds a tree, a perk tree. So you can spend Dragon Souls to get new perks, which do the same thing that Winter Sun does, which is to increase or decrease your recovery time, et cetera, and the power of your shouts. So it's kind of cool. So I'm taking my usual sweet time, kind of plodding through and sort of letting things take their natural course. I don't really grind much because I can never remember how to. So I just let it go. But it's been fun so far. And I'm also, pardon me to sort of go on and on about mods, but I'm using a couple of new, we talked about At Your Own Pace the last time, where with the main quest, you actually can, the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller is there in Ostengrave. Yeah. And all that. So, and I'm doing the companions with that. I'm doing the main quest with At Your Own Pace, and the Dawn Guard and Dragonborn. I have those loaded as well. I don't know how that's going to work out. And then there's a couple other new things, that I'm using. One called Environs, which is kind of cool. I haven't been playing this character long enough to see its results. But the idea with Environs is that it takes certain things, like, for instance, the Western Watchtower, right? And it loads some very small scripts that start the Western Watchtower. And I take that back. I have seen the effects of it to an extent. It starts the Western Watchtower as a complete build. There's no damage to it whatsoever. It's in perfect intact condition. And then after the Merlinier's attack, it becomes what we're all used to. And then after that, it slowly gets rebuilt. The same thing with that old farm across the road from the Western Watchtower.
Oh yeah.
There's a little, it's kind of cool. There's lots of it takes little spots in the game and sort of changes them over time. That's sort of become a theme there. I don't know if you all noticed, there's a mod that came out recently, which, takes dead animals and slowly rots them away.
Oh
Yeah. So there's that. There's been several of those sort of, time, scripted, mods. So anyway, I've loaded all of those. I'm really looking forward to sort of watching the progression of that. And so right now he's just finished the, grabbing the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller, and, but it takes a little, with the At Your Own Pace mod, you have to either sort of cast around and try to figure out exactly how to trigger this quest that you're so used to triggering themselves. And this is something that Stephen talked about in his latest Lio Getz thing, where he doesn't like mods that, or quests that auto trigger that you can't avoid, like when you enter Markarth for the first time. And this At Your Own Pace helps to avert that. And if you use a mod with it called Timing is Everything, you can pretty much take care of all those mods that sort of auto trigger and So I've done a lot of that with this to try to keep the the quest log from being completely
Cluttered.
polluted with things you don't want to do and stuff, so yeah. Anyway, sorry I went on a lot there, but that's where this current character is going.
Those time-based ones seem interesting.
They are. They're sadly, of course, they're. I don't know how many of them, if any, are available for Xbox or anything else. They're, but they are pretty cool, and they seem to be very stable. I haven't had any issues. The only crash I've had was due to a patch for JK, one of JK's latest mods, which was Rift and Outskirts, and there was a Khajiit Has Wares is a mod that sort of just adds a little bit of fun and stuff to the Khajiit camps.
Oh, okay.
There was a patch for that and JK's Rift and Outskirts that caused a crash. As soon as I rounded the corner or came out the door, just the game would crash.
Yeah.
But other than that, I haven't had any problems.
Huh.
It's been great. I've got 308 plugins in this one.
So I do have a new grind for you.
Uh-oh.
And this one's pretty practical because it's so I started a new character for worshiping RK with Gods in Worship, since I had done the Winter Sun last time. And it's a destruction mage, and so I needed to get my destruction up because that was my main source of power. And so if you go to Hobbs Fall Cave and take care of the first leg of the cave before you get to the gate that you have to lower. So there's a few necromancers. You got to clear out some skeletons and stuff. But you get to this chest that has all of the spell tomes that are added with. Oh, no, I don't. So some of it is Odin, and some of it is Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Okay.
Apocalypse. Yeah. Okay.
So and some of it I think might even be added by the anniversary edition. But the one that you're looking for is Unbounded Storms. So it doesn't really matter how much magicka you have, to be able to cast it, because it's a lot like the alteration, where you start off casting the levitation one. What is that? I can't think of the name of it. It's the one you get in the skooma den.
Telekinesis
from the vampires.
where you levitate, or you levitate
where
items?
You can levitate items.
The telekinesis one.
Telekinesis, that's the one. Well, so with Unbounded Storms, you start to cast it and immediately go into the map menu. And fast travel across the map. And it considers you casting that spell the entire time you were fast traveling. And it levels up your destruction magic.
Oh.
And so it's not as fast as telekinesis, because that'll take you from 15 to 100 in one trip across the map.
That is true.
But it does give you 20 levels or so crossing the map. So
nice.
Definitely a good way to grind up some destruction. But so I kind of loosely built this character around The Fallen Inquisitor by Skyhypothesis.
Mhm.
So destruction in left hand, mace in the right. So he's been running around. Just recently picked up the Spell Knight helmet and gauntlets for the destruction reduction and the if you get the corrupted Spell Knight helmet, it's plus 70 magicka.
Oh, is it?
So that's pretty beefy.
That's plus 70 is pretty solid. I mean, that's a pretty high level.
It's been fun. It's a high elf character. Went through did the Mages College. Just before I finished up my other character, it was the Wood Orc. I did the mod Worm's Tooth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's another one where you travel to another island. But that was a hell of a way to level up RK's. So when I got to the island, my favor with RK was 83%. When I killed the necromantic dragon, it was 113%.
Wow.
So
that's Gods and Worship favor?
No, that was Winter Sun.
Winter Sun. Okay.
Winter Sun.
Yeah.
So with Gods and Worship, it's just been a lot of killing vampires, draugrs, and necromancers.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I guess with Gods and Worship, it has a lot to do with quest completions, right?
Yeah, there.
And
Gods and Worship is pretty tedious.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to level up to the next whatever. I forget the different levels of the. But yeah, it's hard to progress.
So I've gotten to Disciple.
Yeah.
On Gods and Worship, so I get the boon power, which is it's essentially a circle of protection spell.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That you can cast. The grace ability is better. That's where you just straight up take 25% less damage from undead and regenerate your health 50% faster. And it also lets you sanctify corpses, which is essentially just turn them into a pile of ash.
Oh, okay.
So that they can't be resurrected by necromancers.
Yeah.
Or vampires. But if you're using Ordinator, there's a high level destruction spell that does the same thing. That one is, what is that one called? Scorched Earth. So you set them on fire, they burn in a lake of their own, burning fat drippings, and then turn into a pile of ash.
Good Lord.
But,
yeah. Yeah, the Gods and Worship Talos stuff is mostly armor and stamina related until you get to the Guardian level. But yeah,
the mod author has a spreadsheet.
Yes, I was about to mention that. Yeah,
that'll break down all the different pluses and minuses for each of the.
You get the most points for the main quest. I think it's like 28 points towards whatever.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the points are everything else, all the little stuff, charity, your divine will like it when you give charity out and won't like it if you steal stuff and things like that. So that's similar to Winter Sun. But yeah, you get a lot of points for different quest fulfillments.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to playing this sort of a lot over the next few months. Just trying to.
Yeah, and
And I started this week. From the beginning.
I would need a mod that that slowly builds, Skyrim up, like for your account, so that every time you start a new character at level 20, they pick up where the last character left off.
There you go.
Otherwise, I would never see anything ever.
Drop you into the world that's already existing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started this new guy right at the cart ride. I decided because the Periac guy I started like Steven did with Lio Getz. I started him well leveled.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. And I just started playing around with the new photo mode mod. So that it works well.
Does it have all the things that like the other photo mod?
Yeah. I haven't gotten into the MCM to look at it, as far as what's customizable in it, but it functions well once I figured out where it dropped the pictures at.
So, speaking of more mods, Ray, did you catch another really cool set of mods that came out? This is like 2 or 3 weeks ago now. I haven't tried them, although I downloaded them immediately. Sky Climb.
No.
Yeah.
Is that the one that when you walk up to a wall, it gives you the little indicator that you can jump up on the wall?
You can climb. Yeah, you can climb almost anything. It's based on a thing called animated traversal, which is a sort of a framework mod. But yes, supposedly you can climb almost anything now.
I saw a video on that. It looked super cool.
It requires some installation expertise, and I think it uses Nemesis, which is one of the animation engines. So you have to be able to run Nemesis. So it's definitely a PC only deal. I mean, I already run Nemesis for all my builds because I use TK Dodge and a couple other things, and that works better if you use this Nemesis framework. But yeah, anyway, it looks really cool. So that's definitely going to be. I'm going to try that out sometime soon.
Nice.
I did. So on my first trip up to High Hrothgar, I got up to that spot not long before you get to High Hrothgar where there's a troll.
Oh,
and I was thinking, and I had Lydia with me, so I decided to take a companion along this time. So Lydia's been running around behind me, and I'm thinking that's a unusually large looking troll.
Oh God.
Why does it look so big? I can't remember what the hell. Why is it so big? So I went in there, splat, and I reloaded. I went splat, and probably 4 times before I remembered that I had loaded this mod called Jotun, which is a troll overhaul. And they are unusually large and very powerful. So I sneaked around. Heck with this. Because it was not working.
Oh man.
Yeah. So beware of Jotun. It's good, but man, they are badass. So
that's pretty cool though, because at times it does feel like the trolls are not as epic as they should be in some places. Or there should be at least higher level ones around.
Yeah. And I don't have calm or, Kind's peace or anything yet. So I can't, and I'm not even sure these trolls might be too powerful for that. I don't know
true.
What
it might be like a giant. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but luckily there is a route that you can sneak around the side of the troll and you get away. But I'll tell you what, before I decided to take that route, I thought, well, I'll run away because, the trolls lose interest. No, he chased me all the way to the door of High Hrothgar.
Oh, holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I got it. I'm out the door.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I still haven't figured out which mod it is, but one of them has changed the Draugr.
Oh.
And it added a Draugr that spits poison.
Oh,
Ooh.
good.
Not
It's
good.
not good. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least now I know to expect them.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And they're visibly different than the other one. So, if you see their outfit, you're like, oh crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first
Cool.
time, it's probably surprising.
Oh yeah. And deadly.
And that
Yeah.
deadly.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Well, we have part 5 of Lio Getz. I think this might be the last one. We don't know what happened to part 6. I'll say, Steve. But we can.
Well, I
check.
hope there's more.
I hope so too.
Next
It's been
season.
really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll take a listen to that now.
Well, hello, adventurers. This is Steve from Skyrim Book Club, and I'm here with another day in the life of our intrepid treasure hunter, Lio Getz. Today we're going to knock out 3 of the Baron's Eye stones, which can be found in Markarth and the surrounding region. Another stone that you can find close to Dawnstar. And we pick up map number 6, which is technically in the Dawnstar region, but really ends up being closer to Whiterun. I decided to start my day in Markarth because, rip the Band-Aid, right? We work before we play. I've never enjoyed Markarth. I find it the most labyrinthian city in Skyrim. And it's just kind of ugly, too, if we're being honest with each other. But I will tell you that the main reason that I don't like Markarth is because I don't like to be quest ambushed. I don't like it in this game when you're wandering along, minding your own business, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, pop, some NPC comes up to you and just foists their life story and all their problems and drama onto you. And you're stuck with an entry in your quest journal that you're never going to do anything about. I want my desk to be clean. I don't like it. And as we all know, when you open those big Dwemer gates and you enter into Markarth, you have no choice but to be roped into the Forsworn conspiracy. But I'm proud to say that I was thinking on my feet today. I checked my guy's setup before I got ready to go, make sure I got the right spells loaded and so on and so forth. And I've got Pacify in my left hand. And just as I'm sitting there waiting for the loading screen to finish, I think to myself, I wonder what would happen if I just pacified that guy who's trying to stab that woman in the market. So I get in there, power up my spell, poof! I catch him when he's a foot away from her, he's already got the knife out and everything. And he stands up straight, pockets his blade. But of course the dialogue is still going off, shouting, whatever he shouts, something about doing it for the Forsworn or blah, blah, blah. And he's standing there, peaceful as a sleeping baby. And out of nowhere, the Markarth guards come rolling in. They slam the shields on him. They start smacking him with their weapons. They take this guy down like a protester at a rally. All over and done with, and his corpse is still glowing with the pleasant green glow of Pacify. Now, I can't escape being given that note by, whoever that guy is. I tell him I didn't see a thing. I get out of there, and I start making my way. So, we have 2 places that we're trying to go today to pick up Baron's Eye stones. The first is the Treasury House. This is very nice. You go straight up the hill, follow the little river, past the house where the Vigilant of Stendar is trying to get you involved in a Daedra quest. And right there, you'll find the Treasury House. So this is an inn. You can just walk in here. There's no real subterfuge that's going to go on. However, you do have to get into the back room if you're going to access the Baron's Eye stone. It's in a bedroom off to the back left as you enter into the building. So it's very easy. Apprentice level lock, 1 lockpick, in and out, no problem. Now I get in there, and Thornvar, the owner, is sitting there, having his lunch. Pretty as you please. Right on his bedside table where you put all of your treasures is the unusual gem. So I picked that up, but I can't resist seeing what old Thornvar has got in his pockets. We sneak up on him, we do the pickpocket thing, and don't I find a ring of deft hands. Because the only thing Lio Getz needs more than 100 skill points in pickpocketing is a 15% increase in his ability to pickpocket. So I successfully steal that, because the delicious irony of getting that wrong would have been fabulous. But no, legit, I stole it on the first try. I leave the man whole otherwise, get out of there, and we start heading for Understone Keep. The second stone that we're looking for is in the Dwemer Museum. Now, I know from previous experience that if you try to approach the Dwemer Museum, the guard will stop you and tell you that you have to go talk to Calselmo. Sure enough, same thing this time around. But as soon as he's done that, he doesn't seem to care whether you walk right by him to the door. I think it's an expert level lock, a little bit of jiggery pokery, not too much trouble. We get in there. Immediately, it's noisy. I don't know why they're running live Dwemer machinery inside the museum, but it's all this very steampunk sounding kind of thing. Display cases everywhere, various Dwemer constructs in there, and I start sneaking around. I don't recall exactly where in the museum the gemstone is, but it's in a small room behind like a locked gate or a locked door. It's not very far from the entrance. If all you're trying to do is get in and get out, you can fairly easily. Now, it's important to recall that I'm staying stealthy. I've been using my invisibility, and because I have quiet casting, I am casting my invisibility again before it runs out. I do a little exploring around here, however, and I find a fabulous expert locked Dwemer chest that has a heavy war axe of Inferno, a heavy ebony war axe of Inferno, and a circlet of extreme illusion. Now, I take both of these things, of course, and I briefly consider whether or not I'm going to keep the circlet of illusion. It's 22% less to your casting cost, but I've got a pretty deep mana pool, or magicka pool, I should say, and we all know I've got a very expensive home purchase ahead of me in the form of Proudspire Manor. I pick up a couple of assorted scrolls, I wander around, and actually unlock Calcelmo's laboratory, which it's clear there's got to be some kind of quest going on down here. Again, I have no idea, but there are lots of valves that you obviously have to interact with. There's oil on the floor, so on and so forth. But Calcelmo is a bit of a cheeky Pete, it seems. He has got a filled black soul gem at his work table. I do not want to know what that man has been up to. Nonetheless, I decide, you know what? I've done pretty well for myself. I've gotten the unusual gem. I'm going to get on my bike, so to speak, and get out of here. But ladies and gentlemen, greed kills. I couldn't resist looking at the display cases. And like the dummy that I am, I stand right up to look into one of the cases to see what's in there, and I trigger all of the guards. It's immediate shouting about trespassing. I don't even get a chance to interact with them or get out in any way. They're aggroed straight away. So luckily I remember from a previous session my practice with Voice of the Emperor. Bam! I hit the cue. Everybody goes happy and quiet, sheath their weapons. I get out of there and I do my best to glide past the remaining guards in Understone Keep, get out to the front door. Now here is my plan. I've told you before that I have a summonable emergency merchant. Now I don't want a bounty in Markarth, right? I don't need to be stopped by some random guard when I'm walking around thoughtlessly, being told I owe him money, and then having him take all my stolen loot because most of my loot's going to be stolen, right? So I summon my merchant. I sell off all of the junk that has got the little red hand beside it. I dismiss her, and I go over and talk to a Markarth guard. And all of a sudden, they're very friendly. They're throwing out casual lines about, oh, you're that illusionist that cast those spells. Impressive. Oh, I heard that a dragon took down Helgen. Can you imagine such a thing? So I look at my journal. I've got a 5 gold bounty as a result of this. But nobody seems to be taking the opportunity to stop me, try to arrest me, extort that $5 out of me, or whatever. But then I realized that I don't care about Markarth, and I'm never coming back to this stinky town again. So I just walk out the front door. And if I end up owing somebody money at some point, well, we're going to live with that. And if that costs me a shiny bauble that didn't really belong to me, well, we'll have to accept that as a cost of doing business. So that was very simple, in and out, cat burglar kind of business, mostly nice and easy. Now we have a bit of a bigger challenge ahead of us. I've got to get down to Dead Crone Rock, which is sort of pretty much straight south of Markarth. But as any of you who have spent any kind of time in the Reach know, you don't go straight anywhere in the Reach. This extremely craggy and rocky terrain means you're always taking the long way around to do anything, or maybe you buy a horse and you kind of climb some hills and that sort of thing. But I've really spent very little time in Markarth in all of my Skyrim hours. And objectively, it's beautiful. It's a wonderful part of the world. But man, it is not like commuting in Whiterun Hold. Not even slightly comparable. Nonetheless, through a combination of ambitious mountain climbing and a little bit of winding my way around, I make my way south down to Hag Rock Redoubt. Because you can't really get to Dead Crone Rock without dealing with Hag Rock Redoubt. Very big Forsworn encampment, multiple levels. It's obviously an old ruin of some kind that they've taken over. And as Michael once said in an episode, and I've never forgotten this since, the Forsworn are garbage. They have nothing. I mean, every once in a while, I'll steal a headdress off one of them to put it on a female character because I think that looks sharp. But otherwise, I'm with that guy. Unless you're going for a particular kind of theme or build for your character and you want those kind of stone and stick type weapons, waste of time. So I don't want anything to do with these people. So I spend an embarrassingly large amount of time trying to figure out if I can get up the back of a mountain or something, kind of come around the top of Dead Crone Rock and sort of drop in on it or whatever. Nothing doing. I'm breaking my ankles, jumping up against the side of these cliffs. Doesn't happen. So we're going to have to go through this readout. And now we get to a point where I can kind of take a second to describe why I'm enjoying playing Lio. Like, I imagine to a lot of you listening along, this really does seem like easy mode, you know? Like, I have such good stealth, I have such a good suite of spells that I'm not really facing any challenge. And that's true if you're looking at Skyrim as a combat game. But with this character, I really get to look at the game as like a puzzle game. Like, how am I going to deal with this, right? Well, the short answer is that Lio Getz got his mountaineering badge in Scouts today. I find out that I can kind of get to the southern edge of Hag Rock Redoubt and sort of clip and glide and climb right along the side of the mountain. I can actually bypass all the levels of Forsworn that I don't want to sneak past or fool around with. And I can get right to Dead Crone Rock. I can get right to the end of this whole dungeon just by coasting along the southern top edge of the mountain range. And so I do that. Absolutely, I do that. You get to Dead Crone Rock, and it's got that sort of, classic black Skyrim door with the kind of dragon-looking emblem on the front of it. Pop that thing open, get in there, and it's sparsely occupied by Forsworn. I somehow managed to be stupid and set myself on fire because there are a lot of those soul gem chaps, the soul gem traps, I should say. They sit on those pedestals and they shoot fire at you and stuff like that. So I can't rely on my perk that allows me to step over trap triggers because you walk in front of them, you're done. However, I've discovered that you can be invisible and on fire, but still technically invisible. I like that. Dead Crone Rock is not much of a dungeon. It's a 3-level tower with a handful of fire traps and very light garrison of Forsworn. However, in order to get to where I want to go, I need to get around and find a lever. So you do really have to work your way through this whole thing, even if you're just there for the Baron's Eye Stone. So I get up to the second level, no big deal. Work my way around to a back room. I get a copy of Game of Dinner, which I must have read somewhere, but it's always good to know where skill books are in Skyrim. Pull the lever, no problem. Get my way back around. I've now opened a previously gated hallway, which actually brings me outside. I go up a set of wooden stairs right by a briar heart, get up to the top, and there is this hag raven standing in front of a big black altar with a word wall behind her. There are another 3 of these soul gem traps, so I managed to kind of ghost around the edges, picking up the soul gems, and in the process of doing so, I see a very nice looking boss chest. We pop that baby open before we do anything else. We get a banded iron armor of the Minor Knight, some Daedra arrows, 100 gold, and a scroll of call to arms, which is worth $500, so that's not too shabby. I look over at the altar, and right there, right in front of our feathered friend, is the unusual gem. Now, I'm pretty confident in my stealth at this point, let's be honest. But I am not at all confident in my ability to stand up to a hag raven if it goes off. And no doubt, all these Forsworn would come running if she sets off an alarm. So I roll out my pacify. Poof. Works like a charm. I didn't even have to double cast it. She sits quietly. I steal a couple of grand soul gems. I steal a virulent poison that I'm going to pocket for a later adventure. I have to kill a necromancer as part of a quest to gain access to Proudspire Manor. So that's going to be one of my spots where I try this pickpocketing poisons. So I keep that in my back pocket for future use. She's still calm as a canary in a cage. I go up to the word wall and I get fear, dismay. So this is another shout that actually might work with his build. It turns out I may not actually have to go down the main quest line and become the Dragonborn, because I heard on episode 220 of Skyrim Addict podcast that they've moved the gem that was inside the Thalmor Embassy into a cave that I can access without going down the main quest line. So absolutely, I am not going to go down the main quest line. Nonetheless, if I ever get an itch to unlock some dragon souls for this guy, I think we've got another spell that would be very useful. Very much in keeping with this character, So having just had a very strong lesson in what happens when your fingers are too sticky and your eyes are bigger than your stomach, I don't waste another minute in this place. I'm not trying to walk my way back down and loot everybody on the way out. I just get out of there. I get as far away as I need to so I can fast travel, head over to a set of stables, pay my $20, go to Dawnstar. So in Dawnstar, we're looking for 2 things. We're looking for a gemstone in Ingvild, which is a tomb not too far from the town proper. And again, as I said, we're looking for a map. So getting to Ingvild wasn't very difficult. If you're going east from Dawnstar, it's like the second big island out in the water. Very obviously a Nordic ruin. You get up in there, There's not even a guard. Enter in. Now, this is like an icy sort of cave, right? Lots of snow and so on and so forth. I'm going down this narrow little tunnel. I turn the corner, and standing right there, staring me in the face, is a Draugr Deathlord. They make creepy sounds, by the way. They have this like rattly breathing. Should they be breathing? I don't think they should be breathing. Nonetheless, I figure, okay, this guy's serious business. This is not a very big room. I gotta get past this guy. I double up on my pacify. Draugr Deathlords are too powerful to be pacified, and the eye starts to open. Well, oh my god. I switch out my spell real fast. I backpedal around the corner. I cast some invisibility, and I wait this guy out. And sure enough, it works. The rest of this very small dungeon, because it's only 2 levels, is this like nail-biting experience, walking past Draugr after Draugr, like wights and Deathlords, and just listening to their footsteps crunch on the snow and their creepy breathing, and always seeming to have to pass them in these narrow little hallways. I am waiting for the other shoe to drop the entire time I am in here. Nonetheless, along the way, I make a little profit, as Leo does. I find myself a grand soul gem that's filled, get some elder gilded armor in a chest, pick up a couple of ultimate stamina potions, which are just money for me. I don't use those for anything. And alongside the Draugr, there are these ghost women that are moving around. I don't interact with them. I don't try to pickpocket them. I mean, what's a ghost got in its pockets anyways, right? Very quickly, I get down to the second level of this thing. I enter into a throne room, and there's a guy in, necromancer-looking robes or similar, sitting on an old throne, clearly Ingvild's, and there is this ghost woman standing next to him on the one side, a couple of urns, and a pedestal with a soul gem, and sort of a door at the back of the dais that he's sitting on. Now, soul gems sell for excellent money. So I figured, look, I'm going to sneak around here. I'm going to lay my hands on this soul gem. And then I'm going to go check that room behind them because I don't see the unusual gem. So I'm not going to waste any time trying to aggravate this guy. I don't want any part of it. Well, the minute I pluck that soul gem, this ghost woman standing next to him goes crazy. She just starts stabbing him. They get into this knockdown, drag-out fight, and she just puts the boots to him. I mean, he barely gets her down like a quarter of her health. She absolutely wipes him out, leaves him on the floor. And as soon as I figure out that she's not going to aggro me, no matter what I do, I go over and I check this dude out. I get a spell tome of bound battle axe. I get a staff of ice storms and some assorted money and, magical clothing. I get his key as well, which helps because that gives you access to a shortcut to get out of here at the end, which I very much enjoyed, by the way, because I was not looking forward to walking past all those Deathlords again. I get into the back room. There was a ghost sleeping in a bed. I don't know why a ghost would be sleepy, but there you go. To my left as I enter is a small table, unusual gem, pluck, and in my pocket. I turn to my right and there's a boss chest and, very interestingly, a staff leaning up against that boss chest. So this turns out to be a grand staff of charming. This will prevent people and animals up to level 20 or something from fighting for 60 seconds. And I think this is one of the first pieces of loot that I'm actually going to keep for Leo, because that seems very much in keeping with this character. I feel like at some point we're going to be in a situation where I've burnt down my Magicka reserve and I'm still going to be dealing with a crowd of people that I can't get away from. I favorite that staff. I'm going to carry that baby around. And when push comes to shove, I am absolutely hoping that it will do the trick for me. And I think it kind of suits my man to be out at a fancy gala, regaling all the nobles with his tales of adventure and repatriation of valuable goods, that he happens to swan around the party with a very fancy staff as part of his get-up. I like that a lot. So once again, we get out of this place, we backtrack, we take advantage of Arundel's key, shortcut our way out of there. We do have to sneak past a couple of the Draugr, but nothing serious. I get back out, and I'm ready for the last part of this play session. Now, Treasure Map 6 turns into a real, hide-and-seek adventure, both finding the map and then finding the location of the treasure. Most of these maps so far have been in a chest in an identifiable location. They're in a dungeon, they're in a bandit camp, whatever. This one, as it turns out, is on a dead body in the middle of nowhere. So if you want to find it, I would suggest that the easiest path would be to start sort of at Whiterun and work your way north from there. If you can get to Halted Stream, kind of wrap your way sort of east and back north around the mountain range, you come to Volenrune. And if you continue sort of northwest from there, you come to the Shrine of Mara. Now, a very short walk north from the Shrine of Mara, maybe 100 feet or something, there's a rocky outcropping. And in the middle of it, there's this dead wood elf. You search her body, you find treasure map 6. Now, I made that sound easy, but it took me probably 20 minutes or more of running around trying to figure that out. So I popped the map open, and it is a drawing of a place that I know I've been before. And I used my unique talent, we'll call it my uncanny extrasensory perception, also known as UESP for short. It's a treatable condition. There's medications and potions. Go see your favorite alchemist, they'll sort you out. And discover that this is Corvinund, I believe it's called. This is where you're going to go in the Civil War quest line to get the Jagged Crown. And you may recall that that is a dungeon that's sort of in a small canyon. But at the back of that canyon is an arch, and there's a very large tree, right next to which is the treasure chest for treasure map 6. This again turns into a little bit of hide and seek. I get up to Lorius Farm. I kind of progress along until I get to Blizzard Rest, which is a giant camp. I loot their chest and I get a scaled helm of Major Magica, so that was a stop worth making. But then I get caught wandering. It's been a really long time since I've done the Civil War quest line. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going. I resort to looking at the UESP map, and I figure out that what I've really got to do is just go straight east from Blizzard's Rest. We get there, it's taken over by bandits, but I don't even need to engage with them. I go right to the back of the ruin, get up to the arch, pop the chest, and I get the following handful of items. I get an empty black soul gem, a flawless amethyst, 114 gold, a gold jeweled necklace, an iron ingot, and a steel warhammer. Pardon me, but I feel like for all the disproportionately valuable loot this guy's been finding given his level in the world, I really don't feel that these treasure maps are scaling. It's fun to find them, but I would say that like the average person that I'm pickpocketing, the average boss chest that I'm opening, is far and away beating anything that I'm getting out of these treasure maps. We're going to continue to do them, of course, because it's in character, and I really do enjoy getting to jaunt all over the map. But I remain somewhat unimpressed. What does impress me, however, is the absolute pitched battle that I get as a result of immersive patrols on my way out. The Stormcloaks and the Thalmor are going at it on the road. There's like 6 Justicars, there's a spellcaster, there's a whole squad of guys in blue armor. It's not looking good for Team Stormcloak for the first bit, but they rally, they nail that wizard, which really turns the tide for them, and they just pants the rest of these people. I patiently wait until everybody's happy again, wandering away from the dead bodies, and I go in there, and I loot 6 full sets of glass armor. I get 2 flawless sapphires off of these people. Now that is some serious money. I summon up my merchant because I'm way over my carry weight. I dump all the loot I've been picking up so far that I don't want to keep. Get rid of all the armor, all the junk, all the gems, all the bits and bobs. Lio Getz now has a cool 33,000 septums. I tuck that away in my pocket. I am now capable of becoming a proud homeowner in solitude. I warp my way back to a set of stables, set my character up for the next adventure. I want to thank you all for listening along. I hope you're enjoying the life and times of Lio Getz. I'm certainly having fun doing it. We have probably got 3 or 4 game sessions left, and we will have put this quest to bed along with the treasure maps. I look forward to sharing each of those adventuring days with you. But until next time, my friends, take care.
It was great. I really enjoyed this one. Probably this one, for me anyway, I think it was the best of them so far. I think it was very, very colorful, lots of fun. And as always, he's such a great storyteller. It was so much fun. Like a cheeky Pete. What the hell is a cheeky Pete, Steven?
When he entered Markarth and used Pacify and it worked.
Yeah, on Wayland. That was hilarious.
That was great. I thought, and particularly, it's so typically Skyrim, right?
Yeah.
So he's pacified, but every other
scripting
NPC
of the guards,
right, still goes through the same old thing. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I love that.
Man.
But I have to say, and I disagree with Stephen and you as well, Michael. I don't know how you feel about it, Ray, but I love Markarth. I think it's a wonderful city. It's 3-dimensional. It's the only city in Skyrim that is, and the same goes for the Reach. Really, it's very 3-dimensional. And I love it. I think it's for me, it's the best city in Skyrim.
I think, and especially with JK's update.
Oh yeah,
true.
Yeah.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Because one of the things that always drives me crazy is that that section when you get into Understone Keep and you take the left to go see Calcemo.
Yeah.
All this time and that's still just rubble and dirt.
Yeah. That's right.
I mean, seriously. I mean, has Casalma got no sway whatsoever with the Jarl?
He's got nothing. Yeah.
But with JK's mod, that's all fixed up.
Yeah, it's all cleaned up. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do. I like Mark Arthur. Always have.
Yep. Yeah, I used to regularly take the Lindrel Hall as my residence because it's a beautiful spot and it's pretty and with one of the Noble Family mods from way back 10, 12 years ago. It's a really nice residence. But yeah, it was great. It was really good. And he talked about when he said something about Lio, where in other playthroughs you'd be fighting and doing combat, but with Lio, it's a completely different play style.
Mm-hmm.
And that reminded me a lot of Couch Warrior, who did a lot of stuff like that. Who was very not strict. You must use this spell and that, but it was very much a sort of an organic play style. This is exactly the way the character would react to these situations, and that's what Leo is very much that way too. I thought it was really astute and
it comes up with clever workarounds.
Very much so. Yeah. I kind of wish he was doing video streams of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they found the Grand Staff of Charming, which worked perfectly in with the character, and then pickpocketed the was it Deft Hands? But the Charming staff work. I mean, that fits in well. He stole it, so he didn't have to make it or buy it or anything like that. He was able to get it that way. Yeah. And then he can work it into the character perfectly for what that character does.
Yeah. And then he was talking about he was imagining Leo at a party. That reminded me of the famous quote. I think it was from My Fair Lady with how does it go? Oozing charm from every pore, he oiled his way across the floor. That's like, yes, exactly.
That's Leo for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost like with characters that don't smith and things like that. I really like using what's in the world now more than crafting things, because you can craft I don't know, things that are so bonkers high that, you can one-shot dragons, things like that. I almost prefer using the stuff that I find now and just doing characters that way, where I have to buy enchanted things or, acquire them in a different way. And I can't always just, take a potion, enchant, smith, enchant, but do the whole grind to get everything super high level.
And I'm using honed metal.
That's a great mod,
which works out great for that kind of character because you can special order stuff from the blacksmith.
That's a cool idea.
It's not cheap, but
and it shouldn't be, right?
No, but it's it's a way to have a character because if a lot of characters, I don't want them to do any smithing. Because it's just not a skill that they would have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a very specialized skill. And so,
you're right.
Being
totally
able
right.
to do that is special.
That's a wonderful mod. It's one of those mods it's that kind of way of life mod that just makes sense. And I think it's Arthmore. I don't remember, but I believe it's. I don't remember. But yeah, it works. It's stable as hell. It's like some of these other mods, like the one I mentioned a few episodes back with the carriage mod, where you just go up to the innkeeper. It's only in the towns that don't necessarily have carriages. You go up to the innkeeper and say, "Can I get a carriage?" And you say, "Yeah, just wait here for a little while." And you sit down in a chair, and in a couple of seconds, a carriage driver walks in. It's like it's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's exactly how it would happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so it's like calling a taxi or an Uber. It's Uber for Skyrim. Yeah,
That's it.
So no, but it's great. It's great. Yeah, I love Hone Metal. I forget. Does Hone Metal include enchants too, or is that another mod I'm thinking of?
Mm,
In other words,
it's
can you
hard to
get,
say. I know
yeah.
I know I can get people to enchant stuff for me, but I don't know if that's coming from Hone Metal or not.
Yeah.
I also feel like those services fix the economy some too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you then have to, it just makes more sense that like my character is an alchemist. Well, I can sell my stuff and then buy some proper gear. And, when I'm selling whatever, 10 lingering magicka poisons that are worth 500 gold, I can then at least purchase some decent armor. And it will use up all that money and not, feel like I didn't work
you're
for
always, a millionaire.
Yeah. You actually have to, make some stuff to be able to do it. That makes sense. And then to pay a decent price to have something enchanted would make total sense,
Yeah. And actually, speaking of economy, trade and barter, another very old, venerable mod, just got a recent AE related update. I think it was just a month or so ago. So it's now available and stable for modern build of Skyrim. Wonderful. It's a great mod that does very similar things. It makes things more expensive where they're more scarce and cheap where they aren't. So stuff like that, and adds a few little quests if you want to pursue it. That's great mod. Great mod. Did I say trade and barter? I meant trade routes.
Trade routes. Okay.
Trade routes. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know which one I'm using, but it.
The trade and barter is the Cryptopeer mod that's been around, and that's also a wonderful mod. Trade routes is works well with trade and barter, but
yeah, this one, definitely jacks up the price. A room is 25 gold.
Yes.
A carriage ride's 50 to a city with a stable and 75 to one without. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
One of the things that Leo ran into was his what I'm going to call a parking ticket. So he got the $5 bounty.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't try to haul him in for it. And I had that happen too. So I think it is surrounding a mechanic. So like if you drop a weapon in a city, a guard's going to come up and give you shit about it. If you tell him to take a hike, you get a bounty.
Oh.
He doesn't take you in. And I don't know who you pay it to.
Or the next time you get screwed for some other crime, you'll pay that bounty too, right?
Yeah.
And I had that. I this character doesn't use bow and arrow, so I had some arrows and I needed to get rid of them, and I knew I couldn't just drop them, but I put them in a barrel next to War Maidens. And got a 1 gold bounty for doing that.
Oh my god!
You naughty litterer! Yes.
So yeah, it's a weird thing.
You arrow dropper, you. That's funny. I mean, and not to keep sort of stroking Stephen's ego too much, but I have to say that when he described, there was one spot where I think it was when he was in Ingvild, and he was talking about the really high level death lords that he ran into, and he was talking about sneaking around near them and hearing their feet crunch and their breathing.
Yeah, their breathing. Yeah,
that is so. It was like so evocative. I thought, wow, yes, I have been there, and that is it. Really is. Not scary, but it's very enervating. It was
it puts you on
great
edge.
description. Yeah, it was a great description. Kudos, Stephen. You are a wonderful storyteller.
Yeah, he is for sure. And High Sneak does just absolutely rock.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, he was invisible and on fire at the same time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Another thing I've never done.
Yeah.
It is cool though that it doesn't take away your invisibility. Touching a doorknob takes away your invisibility. Touching on fire.
But being on fire, not so much.
Yeah. Hey, you can't see alcohol fire, so
This is fair. This is fair.
Yeah.
So, and it's an interesting question about the treasure maps.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So whether those chests are actually leveled, and it immediately made me think, well, the one we need to ask is Mr. B.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he made those mods.
Yeah.
So he understands how to read the chest loot tables.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what if those things really are leveled or not.
He's still active. I still see he still responds to things on the mods that he's done. So at least he did a few months ago. So reach out to him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I don't think I've gone after them enough to notice whether.
I don't think they are.
Yeah, I think it's I don't think so either, but I just don't know.
I mean, the number of times I've gone after anyone except for the one next to Riverwood,
yeah,
is almost negligible. I've never done the whole list.
I've never done the whole list either. Yeah.
I have to tell you though that what disappointed me the most isn't necessarily the loots, but is that you have to find the treasure map in order for the stuff to appear in the location.
Yeah.
So if you already know where it is,
you can't go
and you go there, it's not there.
Right.
That's just I'm sorry. I know that's a minor quibble, and it's silly. But
and how did you know it was there?
That's right, yeah. Well, I played it before.
Yeah, because there's the
well, you knew it.
Yeah,
how'd your character know it?
Okay, you're right.
There's one like up on the hill behind the meadery by Whiterun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that one's not there unless you get the thing.
It's in the tree. It's near Anissa's house.
That's it.
There's another one around the corner.
Yeah, it's just up the hill.
Yeah,
there's a good place to get a couple of deer there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
If you need pelts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I needed a cloak because I was freezing in survival mode.
So sorry, more mods, but we were talking about before we started. There's been another sort of blossoming of mods. So I just want to mention that Simon May just brought out several new ones, and one of them is a survival mod. It's called Starfrost, and it's based on vanilla survival, based on another mod called Survival Mode Enhanced or Survival Mode Improved, which I think is an SKSE plugin, and then Starfrost on top of that. So it's another thing, and I think Simon May just releases a lot of his mods for Xbox. I don't know if this one will be available or not, but definitely well worth a try. He has a lot of interesting, if you read the mod description on the Nexus, a lot of interesting takes on it where, cold won't kill you as fast as it does in vanilla survival, which is completely ridiculous, frankly. And stuff. So Starfrost, he released another one called Gourmet, which is another food mod, which sounds really cool. And one called Candle Hearth, which is an inn overhaul where you can actually rent rooms for long periods of time with safe storage.
That's nice.
It's kind of a cool idea. It's very simple. That's all it does. Just adds the ability to rent a room for a month at a time at a discounted rate and use the chest in there. And from his description, he doesn't really, it's very compatible. He just changes the state of the containers. So it shouldn't conflict with anything. Anyway, so those are pretty cool.
That is a great idea though, especially if you're like playing like a wandering character that's doing very basic stuff like whatever, a smith or an alchemist, and you're gathering materials,
or a hunter or something, right?
Hunter, selling your wares in each town. So you want to stay in this area for a month, and then move on to wherever else. That's really a useful tool.
Yeah. No, it sounds really cool. It's another great little tool for a unique playthrough.
Yeah, it just adds more complexity to a character, more realism to it too. Where you don't have to always find a house to have storage that way.
Yeah.
Of course, then in a month you'll fill that chest up with so much crap.
Or have Lydia carry your burdens or whatever. Yeah.
You won't be able to carry it anywhere. But you'll be moving it's incredibly slow.
I'll tell you though, I had forgotten that I loaded Zim's immersive artifacts on this one, and when I got the final reward from Balgruf after the third stage of whatever that is, it was this amazing great sword called Boomfang or something like that, which has pretty high damage for a relatively low level character. I think it was 25 or 26 damage, plus a 40% reduction of shout cooldown.
Oh my god!
Within 20 seconds of hitting an adversary, so you can,
nice.
if you only have like the first one or two words of unrelenting force, you can just blast somebody with that, and then whack them with the sword, and then and then you're within
recharged.
Recharged very quickly. It's pretty cool. So, yep.
One of the things that I'm doing with my character is a lot of dungeon dives, killing vampires to try to drive up my RK favorability. And all of a sudden I started getting attacked by cultists in Morag Tang armor.
Oh.
With a note from Molag Bal to the cultists saying, this guy is causing trouble. Get rid of him.
I love it. The Daedra have to resort to taking out contracts, right?
Hiring mercenaries.
Instead of just pointing at you going, Zot. Yeah.
Oh man. That's funny.
So I'll post a couple of pictures after the show here. So one of them was I was in Morvarth Slayer, and so I piled all the bodies. There's an altar to Molag Bal.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's added by Gods in Worship.
I was going to say, because I don't remember one in there. Yeah.
And so I piled all the bodies at the base of his altar, and then just set everybody on fire. So I figured that's why he was probably pissed at me.
Yeah, I'm sure
all right, I've had enough of this guy. Oh man, I guess we can. The big gaming news otherwise this week: Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh yeah, dear.
I know a lot of people are playing it. I have not played any yet.
Well, both Sean, my two of my kids, Sean and Kate, have been playing it since the alpha practically. So,
cool.
So they were real excited.
I'll play it when it's first person.
Yeah,
that's right. That's a third person game, right?
Yeah.
And it's also, isn't it ISO?
Yes, an isometric. 1, 2, 3, 4 party member. Just a lot like Divinity or Original Sin or Divinity 2. What drives me crazy about it is the camera controls. It's a mouse click move camera control to rotate. It's just so, if you are ingrained with the mouse look and the WASD keys and you're 66 years old, it's really hard to, or older, it's really hard to break out of that, and it's been so long since I've played games with that kind of camera control that it's really hard. And also I downloaded it. I played it for a little while. I just like D&D in real life. I like playing it that way with the real dice rolls and stuff. And it's very true to the game. There's no doubt about that. But the story is cool. Everything about it. It's a very, very slick, very beautifully made game. It's a great studio. They do great work. The animations, the character models, everything to me looks like an MMO and
gotcha.
plays like D&D that I'd rather be playing with real people somewhere in a room, or online like we used to do. So kudos to the game. There's no doubt it's a really good game, but I just bounced. I'll go back and I think there's an online mode, so I'm going to go in there and play with Kate and Colin or Kate and Sean and they'll clean up my corpse. But when I play with them, they'll give me some good points.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk and Rage, which are both first person games, but they make use of the F key, to activate things. And so when I bounce back into Skyrim or Fallout, I am constantly switching myself into third person view by pressing the F key instead of the E key. So yeah, I mean, a simple thing like that is maddening. I can't even imagine, having a whole separate control structure.
Oh, it's really infuriating. And it's just hard to get used to. You have to right click and move the mouse in order to rotate the camera around. And of course, you're above and you're in that isometric mode. It really is hard to get used to. That's all. I'm whining about something that is a feature, not a flaw. So I get that, but it really is hard to get used to. I finished off in other games. I finished the first two Tomb Raiders. Now I'm starting on the third one. They really are great games. They're so much fun. I love parkour puzzles, and they're really good with that. So I've enjoyed the heck out of those games. So
yeah, I tried. I was looking for something to play yesterday. I think Skyrim had crashed on me, and I was like, all right, I need a break.
Yeah, fuck this.
Yeah, so I pulled up Sniper Elite, but to me it was just Sniper Elite 5. But it felt like I was playing Hitman, but not as fun as when I play Hitman.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. I was like, yeah, I don't really want to play that. And then I was going to go. I had a couple of the Assassin's Creed on there still from when I played them way back. And I'm like, I'll go do Origins. And I was like, wait, no, this one has a lot of boat battles. I'm like, I'm not doing this one. Ships. So then I finally settled on Assassin's Creed Odyssey and been kind of playing around with that again. I played through the whole thing before, but
did you? Yeah, I made maybe the third of the way through Origins. I think somewhere in that. Go back to Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 is such a wonderful game.
Oh, you know what? I should have hopped in that. Yeah, now that you mention it, I should have pulled that up. Maybe that'll be next. Yeah,
just go hunting and fishing.
Yeah. It's just you can do all kinds of stuff in there. Yeah, it's a great game.
I mean, I'm basically just hunting.
Did you play 6, Ray?
No, never did play 6.
Yeah,
came close. It was on sale this summer on the Steam sale.
Yeah,
but I had too many things going on at the time.
Yeah,
and Starfield.
Yeah, it's coming. So,
oh yeah,
it's coloring a lot of my decisions lately.
yeah.
Yeah, it's what, a couple weeks, right? Month. Yeah, about a month.
What's the date? September 3rd?
6th?
First.
Oh, first. Okay.
For the early the pre-order stuff. It's the 6th is the official date.
Yeah, I forget if I bought it or not. Because I'm leaving for England next week, and I'll be back just before that. So I'm not going to be able to take time off.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what's going on in speaking of No Man's Sky earlier and Fallout
Yeah.
and all that?
Just dropped an episode today. So we're kind of in update watch mode. So there's usually an update that comes out in August. And it's been a few weeks since the last expedition ended. So certainly anytime now we could get an emoji from Sean Murray, which will send the community into full spiral.
Yep.
And so we'll see what comes up there. We're waiting. So at the beginning of the year, the first update that we got introduced some new ship types and a new storyline. And so then the update that we got in, I think it was April, was the second part of that. So the anticipation is that we'll get the third and fourth before the end of the year. But there hasn't really been any rumble at this point as to what it's going to be. So, but they're expanding on some very old lore of the game.
Oh, interesting.
So it's been interesting so far.
Cool.
Huh.
And they do a lot of hiding in plain sight. So you'll get a message and it'll be just a random string of numbers. But if you put those numbers into an editor that can decipher from hex to text, you'll get a message.
Wow.
And so something that just seemed really random at one, when you bumped into it, is actually a hidden message in the game.
That's very cool.
And it's so bad that there's a sound that plays in a particular interaction in the game with the Atlas, which is the big bad guy. There's a sound that plays. If you run that sound through some special software, it also has a message.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of like, the pictures that, the picture has data embedded in it. It's like that. It's a sound that has data embedded in it.
It's like Paul is dead, right? Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
So that's been a lot of fun. It keeps everybody really busy. Because they're trying to decipher every single thing that happens in the game.
Oh God, yeah, that's extra.
Looking for the next clue. But we're all looking forward to the Void Mother. That's the bit of lore that'll be at the end of this.
Yeah.
So. And then, of course, in the Fallout feed, we're headed to Nuka World.
Nice.
With our survival characters.
Cool.
And Andrew is up to his usual antics. And it'll be interesting to hear his story on Friday, because I gave a little tidbit of information, kind of like my, using unbounded storms to level your destruction magic. I had a little workaround for the gauntlet. And of course, Andrew took it to the extreme.
Uh-oh.
And as I should have anticipated, knowing, how he likes to do things, but it'll be fun to hear about his antics in Nuka World before he gets to Nuka World.
Yeah. Remember the Gauntlet's very, very tough.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun. So we'll see. I got to get in there and get through the Gauntlet myself. So
I don't know if I ever did the Gauntlet.
I think you have to, don't you?
To get into Nuka World, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played.
Never did that DLC.
Yeah, I don't think I did actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I started it but didn't finish it, or maybe I just don't remember.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's an interesting. They did a really good job with the theme park.
Yeah, they did. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
So I mean, the Raiders are thoroughly Raidery, but the space is interesting, and they have the Stones of Baranzaya.
Oh, in
Nuka World. So the Star Cores.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You have to, wander around the place finding these obscure little pieces of tech to.
Isn't there one in that tunnel where you get run over by trains a lot?
Well, it's the cars.
Yeah.
The little on the track race cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get run over them by all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get to Nuka World because I don't remember.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's been a long time since I played that. Yeah.
So, but that's about it. And then, we're all on pins and needles. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think I bought the advance yet, but yes, I'll be playing it within minutes of its release, even if I'm still jet lagged.
And I'll have to verify. I heard that actually tomorrow on the August 9th, the Steam pre-download should be available.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
But there's going to be a release update.
A huge patch at the end. Yeah. Right before it goes live.
Yeah.
And the pre-release caveat is that if the game is up and running, then you can play it. So we'll see how well that holds up. But
it should. I mean, how much multiplayer is built into it? I haven't really
none, zero.
Yeah, right. So it shouldn't be an issue of servers going down, except Steam servers, which are super robust. So there shouldn't be a problem with downloads.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes, but so we should see a whole rash of videos about how I played it earlier than the early release.
Yeah,
and show that they downloaded the game.
Yeah.
But I couldn't show any gameplay footage.
Yep. Oh well.
Cats are getting wild.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm like,
So I got to figure out what my next deity is that
to go through.
I'll have to build a character for.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with my alchemist. I'm going to keep going. I'm enjoying the just slow, simple, live in the world play. I kind of like that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's fun.
So I might just do that for a while. No quests. I haven't done any quests. So
I'll definitely have to start a new character to be able to do something like that because RK is very demanding. He wants the undead dead.
Yeah, you got to get. Yeah, that's true. You have to do stuff. Yeah.
If I'm not killing Draugrs, he's going to kick me to the curb.
You could do her scene, right? Just go hunting, spend your days hunting wolves and
or kind.
Yeah. That's true too.
Yeah, it depends on whether you want to do a divine or a Daedra.
Yeah.
I'll have to see what's in it for me.
Yeah, that is fair.
Well, then you definitely want to do a Daedra. Yeah.
Yeah, that's today. Give you a little better. Well, until next time.
Yeah. And next time we might be talking about Starfield, right?
Yeah, that's what I assume. Maybe we could. I don't know if we could squeeze in a day one quick thoughts, possibly.
Oh, hell yeah!
I figured that's about a month from now, so that's about proper timing.
Yeah.
Unless if we squeeze one in before that, that'd be shocking. But since it's end of summer here,
Yeah.
Well, I'll be in the UK, but I'm going to have the Steam Deck with me, so I'll probably play some Skyrim on that too. Although I have not bothered to set it up for modding. It's just too much trouble.
Roundabout to
Yeah.
get to do it. Yeah,
I'm not a Linux, expert like Ray, so I bet you could probably set your, because it basically is a Linux desktop under there.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I gather that with the right, software, you can make it work pretty well. I just don't have the skill or the desire to learn the skill to do all that. But there are a lot of people using it as a Linux machine.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing about Linux is that, so when other people do, figure this stuff out, they post the code
Yeah.
and you cut and paste it and it runs. And so you don't have to know how to code it. You just you have to know where to find the code.
Yeah.
And so people post that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible coder. I've always been a hardware guy, but with Linux, I can just, find somebody that's posted the code, cut and paste it into the command prompt, and bam,
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's for a different show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe if we get lucky, we can convince Steven to do part 6.
Yeah.
We'll see.
6.
Do more.
That guy owes us 6, 7, and 8 at least.
That's
Yeah,
right.
he did say
At the
3
end of the
more.
last one, he said he was going to do 3 or 4 more.
Yeah.
So
Right.
come on now.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
looking forward.
he's under contract.
Yeah, spoiler
That's
alert.
right,
That was
yeah.
April 10th. So
He should have had plenty of time to play and edit.
Yeah. We know where you live. Canada's not that big.
exactly. All right, everybody. Till next time. We'll talk to you then.
Yeah. Good night, all.
Take care.